Hello YouTube, welcome to another episode of Angry Dave's Adult RC. I'm your host, Angry Dave. Today we're here with the back end of one of my slashes and a glass of Tito's and Sprite. By the way, anybody who's under 13, get fucking lost. So, what we're doing with the back end of my slash here is I keep breaking this fucking transmission. I got it built pretty badass. It's got Robinson gears and it's got the RPM case and aluminum motor plate and blah, 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 blah. But I keep stripping gears inside, and I think the reason is because I'm using a pretty powerful 3S in this truck, and I think the nylon transmission housing is flexing and allowing tolerance to appear between the gears, which allows the gears to skip and slam into each other and break teeth off. So let's grab some tools, rip this case open, and see if that's the case this time too. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a chunk of tooth missing. There's another chunk over here. Well, gonna have to get all these gears out, get them cleaned up, and see what's missing teeth. Yep, definitely the idler gear. There's several partial teeth and whole teeth missing. It's a big old mess. So, this is like the only part in the whole transmission that's still stock. Big surprise. So I guess I'll have to go online and find me a nice steel one. Alright, so after looking around on the internet, it looks like the Traxxas part is really the only option to go with. So there it is. I guess bust out some tools and start getting the old gear off the shaft. This input shaft is modified to run a stainless drive pin instead of the stupid stock roll pin, which is definitely not strong enough for 3S use. The only problem is the gear that comes on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This camera doesn't focus in real close well. That groove is oversized to fit on this pin. So we're going to have to take this new gear and make that groove match. Alright, now that the input shaft is repaired and ready to rock and roll, I'm going to go ahead and clean the old grease off of these other parts here and make sure they're all happy. And then I'm going to do kind of a preliminary assembly with the new transmission, and just kind of see how everything fits, make sure everything's jiving, make sure it's going to go well, and then I'll lubricate everything and bolt it together. So it went together and everything works. As you can see, possibly, we got output drive there, nice and smooth, nothing's binding, everything seems pretty happy. So we're going to go ahead and take it back apart, lubricate everything real well, and put Loctite on all the hardware, screw it back together, and it's ready to go back in the truck. So here's the assembly all put back together, the rear end ready to get put back in the truck. The only thing that really was difficult, I would say, is this rear portion on the stock transmission is very wide, and the bumper mount just kind of screws right on, no problem. This being an aluminum motor plate and not having all of this shrouding and thickness in through there, they give you these spacers, and they give you this 2.5 millimeter wide spacer, and they give you some screws to kind of reconstruct this area. But I don't know if this is common, but in my situation that didn't really work out. The washer down in there to the right of the motor plate is one I had laying around. It's probably about 1.5 millimeters, and it's still a bit thick. It makes everything tight. Probably a 1 millimeter spacer would be best right there. And then you put the long bolt through this spacer. There's no threads in this, and then you put the lock nut on the other side. Down here, this spacer looks the same on the outside, but it's actually threaded. You use one of the short countersunk bolts through this hole down in the bottom of the motor plate to secure it to the motor plate, and then after the bumper mount is in place, you run a long screw through here into the other side of it. I added screw attachment points here and in the same place on the other side, because these wings, they tend to get caught on shit and get pulled off, and it kind of fucks the whole rear bumper area up there while you're bashing. So since I've had some screws in there, I haven't had any problems with that. So now all I have to do is go ahead and screw this back in the truck, stick the motor back in the plate, reset the gear mesh, and ready to kick the shit out of it. Alright, so we got her all the way back together and she's ready to bash. Unfortunately, there is snow fucking everywhere. There's nowhere I can run this truck right now, so I guess we're just gonna have to wait until it warms up and thaws out and all this fucking white shit goes away. And I took so fucking long to edit this video that all has happened. So let's see what this fucking thing can do. Well, it was ticking, and apparently whatever was ticking broke because it ain't going anywhere. So we'll have to do another dig into the fucking transmission, and we might get another episode out of it. We'll see. I might just throw it in a fucking bonfire. We'll see what happens. But if you like the video, drop us a like, leave us a comment, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Check us out on our social media pages and on our website. And we'll see you next time on Adult RC, where grown-up time is playtime.